Hi, this is Bethany. I just wanted to take a couple of moments to share some additional information on our upcoming launch for our Insight Milwaukee meditation community. We're really looking forward to starting practice in early January, so I thought it'd be helpful to just share a little bit of information about what practice will be like and what we're hoping to get out of our time together. Insight Milwaukee really came out of the personal desire and personal interest in starting an Insight community in the greater Milwaukee area. So you're welcome to join us for practice either live. We have space rented at Helium Restore in Bayview. Or you're also welcome to join us on Zoom. So we have all of the classes, all of our times together will be available hybrid. So they are weatherproof for Wisconsin, which is great. And we're really looking forward to practicing together. So you don't need to have experience to join us. All levels are welcome. If you have a practice that you've been exploring on your own, you're welcome to join us no matter where you are. I like to think about meditation. I've really been drawn to Thich Nhat Hanh's definition of meditation, and it's really been resonating with me a lot recently. And he says, meditation is a serene encounter with reality. And I love how simple that is. I think meditation can get really overwhelming, especially if you're new to the practice. There's all of the different techniques. There's Buddhist practice, there's secular practice, there's all of these different ways that you can go about approaching meditation. But foundationally, it's any method or any technique that helps you become more connected with that serene encounter with reality. So, insight practice is an incredible practice that I have been really drawn to over the past couple of years. A little bit about my background: I've been meditating for about 13 years and started very deep in my practice, grounded in a mindfulness meditation practice, which is also an incredible practice. And over the last couple of years have evolved my practice to encompass some of the insight Vipassana techniques that have been really transformational for my own practice. And there isn't an insight center in Milwaukee, so I'm hoping that some of you, or hopefully many of you, are interested in growing your practice as well alongside with me. Insight practice is really interesting. You don't need to have experience in meditation to join us. Many of our practices will have foundations in mindfulness, so just becoming more aware and having greater presence with the experience of your very real life. And then layering on components of insight as we grow as a community. So hopefully starting to get a better and more clear understanding of how we're showing up for ourselves, how we're showing up in relationships, how some of our habitual and maybe unconscious parts of our experience, some of those habits or some of those pesky things that we're not always aware of, we can start to become aware of them, and then layering on with the insight practice, starting to become curious about where they may be coming from and how we might grow in our practice and potentially in our life. So there are two main components to the practice that we will be exploring together: shamatha and vipassana. So if you're familiar with mindfulness practice, mindfulness takes many of the techniques from shamatha practice as part of the main component of what we're doing here. So many of the mindfulness practices you may have experienced on apps like Insight Timer or the Calm app or wherever you're practicing currently, these are practices that help you become calm, more tranquil, start to pursue that serene encounter with reality. And these practices are very helpful in cultivating awareness of reality. So it's very difficult to jump right into an insight practice. So we'll be spending quite a bit of time simply pursuing shamatha practice and becoming more mindful of the actual reality that we're experiencing. So shamatha, very core, very essential part of our practice. We'll also be exploring some vipassana, some insight practices together. Once you have a very clear and grounded understanding of your experience, you can start to chip away at some of the illusions or some of the fluctuations of mind or some of the misconceptions that you may carry about the reality of the nature of things, the way that you're experiencing life. So insight really applies some of that critical thinking, non-judgmental awareness to the practice, which can be so profound and incredibly impactful on your life and on your practice. So the actual practice itself, we are starting our offering with twice weekly live practices. So this will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And like I mentioned before, if you are local to Milwaukee, you are so welcome to join us live. We have space rented at Helium Restore in Bayview. So it's the same space as Milwaukee Community Acupuncture, right above Cafe Central on Kinnickinnick Avenue. I also mentioned Zoom is an option. So if you are not in the Milwaukee area, or if you just need a weatherproof solution, you're welcome to join us on Zoom as well. From 6 a.m. to about 6:15, we will be practicing noble silence. So as you arrive into the space, either physically or as you're arriving on your cushion on Zoom, I do encourage you to be mindful of how you're coming into practice. If you're able to employ noble silence and start to come into your actual experience non-verbally, that would be highly encouraged. We're human, so stuff happens. Like as you're navigating the locker room, or as you're reminding your family or your cohabitants that you're coming into practice, words might be required. It's totally fine. But just be mindful as you enter into the space in the container of practice that from about 6 to 6:15, as much silence as possible is recommended. Practice will formally start at 6:15, so I will run downstairs at Helium Restore to lock the door just for security purposes, and we'll open our meditation. So in the Vipassana tradition, it is mostly silent practice. I will be offering some guidance in the beginning of the 6:15 to 6:45 sit so that you can just have a little bit of an offering to come into your presence, come into your practice. And then that will also be a little bit of time to share some of the Dharma and just help you get started in your practice. So from about 6:15 to 6:45, we will practice. We will mostly be silent, and there will be a little bit of guidance along the way, just in case you're losing track of your practice or you're starting to drift off outside of the cushion or outside of the room. Just a little bit of encouragement along the way to come back to your practice. Then from 6:45 to 7 a.m., you're welcome to hang out either in the Zoom or in the studio. You can chat, you can take time for question and response, you can just hang out in Sangha. That one of the most powerful parts of practicing live in community is learning from and getting encouragement from the Sangha you're practicing with. It is very likely that if you experience an insight, or if you have a question or a challenge that arose during practice, almost every single time somebody else has that same insight or that learning or that question that has popped up. So please share your experience, share anything that might be coming up. I don't personally have all the answers. That's why I call it question and response. We can learn as a community together, and we can grow as a community together. I'll also say that if you have somewhere to go, if you have to jet off to work or back to your family or whatever it might be, 6:45 to 7 o'clock, there's nothing personal if you've got to get going. It's totally fine for you to just start your day and be on your merry way. And for joining us, there's no formal sign-up procedure. We don't have an app or anything like that. I'll be there Tuesdays and Thursdays, weather permitting. So you're welcome to just show up and practice with us. Same goes for the Zoom. I'll be posting the Zoom link on our Patreon site, so you can join us via the Zoom. There's also a chat function on Patreon, which is super helpful. So if there's extreme weather or anything like that, just stay tuned on the Patreon. If for whatever reason I can't be there, all of those announcements will be posted on our Patreon. In terms of what you need to bring for practice, Helium Restore is very well outfitted. We have blocks and bolsters. So if you have a cushion that's very special to you, you're very welcome to bring it, but just know that you don't need a yoga mat, you don't need props, but if there's something that is specific or particular to your practice, very much welcome to bring it. You are also welcome to bring coffee, water, tea. There's a hot water dispenser in the community space, so you can always, grab some tea before you start your sit. The one thing that I would recommend is from 6:15 to 6:45, if you can avoid any distractions. So that might be the water, the tea, the coffee, whatever it might be. Really committing to your practice will help you experience the benefits of practice most thoroughly. That being said, again, we're human. So if you are coughing or if you need to clear your throat, take what you need. Like grab the sip of water, do what you need to do, and come back into practice. One of the benefits to practicing in community is when those experiences inevitably come up, somebody clearing their throat or somebody shifting in their seat, you can use that fluctuation or that potentially a distraction to come back to your practice or allow yourself to ride the wave of whatever that distraction might be and come and stay or come back to your practice in a way that is loving, kind, and non-judgmental. These classes are being offered on a Dana basis. So if you are unfamiliar with Dana, it is the idea of generosity and giving from your heart space. So there's not a cost to join us. If you're coming Tuesdays, or Thursdays, both every time, it's completely up to you, and the giving is completely up to you. If giving financially isn't available to you right now, no worries. You're welcome to join us. Part of our lineage is offering these practices freely from the heart. And if you feel called to give back from the heart, we very much welcome your donations. There's two ways you can help fund our cause. We do have costs for operating. The contributions will go to offsetting the rent that we pay to Helium Restore, and then just some of the operational costs that come from offering these practices. So helping offset our Zoom costs and running our website and things like that. So you can contribute a few different ways. The Patreon is set up already, so you can join the Patreon at increments of $5 a month. So anywhere from $5 to $30 a month, again, in those $5 increments. We very much welcome those contributions. If it's easier for you to do ad hoc contributions, we also have a Venmo that is set up, so you can do however frequently you feel called to donate through the Venmo is an option. And then if you're joining us live in person, I'll also have a donation box, so you can drop in cash if that's the easiest method for you. Whatever method works best for you, it's all private, so you won't see anybody's contribution level on the Patreon. The Venmo is set up to private, so again, nobody will see what you're contributing there, and you can be as discreet as you like in the locker room donating cash if that's the method that works best for you. Again, these offerings in our history are given freely. So if you are struggling financially or can't contribute, please feel welcome to come. Or if you need to take a break over one of the months because you're experiencing hardship, the focus here should be on Sangha, community, the Dharma, and understanding the practice and practicing together. And if you are able to, we would very much welcome any contributions you can contribute to help support our community. So that's a lot of information. Hopefully that's helpful. As you think about starting your practice, I would really, really encourage you to commit to at least one day a week. So whether that's Tuesdays or Thursdays, you can just know in your mind that you've committed to the practice and that on Tuesday mornings you'll be there, or on Thursday mornings you'll be there, or if you want to go for it, Tuesdays and Thursdays together. It can really support you in your practice and hopefully help you grow in your practice if you can dedicate some time at least once a week to being with us in community. As we look forward in 2025, I'm really hoping to also add on some offerings if it's supportive for the community. So, in our tradition in Vipassana practice, one of the ways that you can deepen your practice is through retreat. So, this is a very big part of Vipassana practice, is going on and practicing in a big container of time to really deepen your practice. I'm working with a few different retreat centers in Wisconsin right now, so more information will be available as I solidify those relationships and we can hopefully offer some longer sits. I'm initially thinking a retreat sometime this summer with the option of either a 3 or a 7-day sit. And again, more information will be available on those offerings as they become more solidified. And then finally, for 2025 offerings, there's also a really cool practice called Insight Dialogue that I would love to bring to the community. I practice with an Insight Dialogue community in Hong Kong right now, and I'm going to continue practicing with them, again, with the intention of bringing that offering to our community in Milwaukee if it's helpful and something of interest to you all. Insight Dialogue is really cool because it's relational Dharma practice. So essentially, we'll go into it more if this offering is something you're interested in, where in either dyads or triads, depending on how big the group is, a prompt is given and you simply react to the prompt in community. So again, with one other person or with 2 other people, and you freely speak, and there's no judgment, there's no interruption. You can share as much or as little as you like. And then afterward, if you're open to receiving or seeking feedback, you can ask for it, but you don't have to. You can simply share your reaction to that prompt and let it be as it is. And then on the flip side, you receive that same amount or that same time for the other person in your dyad, or if you're in a triad, the 2 other people will be sharing, and you simply listen. Communication is best developed when you are actively listening and participating without anticipation of how you'll respond, without criticizing in the mind. And it's a really, really cool practice. I've had many emotional responses to sharing without performing, if you will, or without, yeah, I think performing is probably the best way to describe it. It can be a really profound and moving experience. So I would love to share that with you if anybody is interested in that in 2025. Okay, that's so much information. If you would like anything else, please feel free to email me. I'm at info@insightmke.org. You're very welcome to ask questions or post in the community chat on Patreon. Again, if you have a question, others may have that same question as well. And then to stay connected, we have our website that is up and running. We have an Instagram site that is out. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the Pali language, I've started a Wisdom Wednesday. So a little bit of midweek wisdom to share with you if you're on the social media platforms. So Instagram is there for you. We also have YouTube, so this video is posted on YouTube. I do encourage you to subscribe so that you can check in on, longer vlogs, I guess these are called, longer pieces of information that aren't as, easy to follow in writing. And they'll also be recording our sits. So if you do have to miss a Tuesday or a Thursday that you're normally participating in, I'll post those on our YouTube as well, so you can continue your practice if you can't join us live. Patreon is out there, and our newsletter. If you would like to stay up to date on information that's being pushed to you, newsletter once a month. I won't bombard you. The goal is the first of every month to send out some newsletter correspondence. And then if we have things that pop up throughout the month, I'll shoot those out via email as well. So make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter to stay up to date and connected on all the things that are happening. So excited to practice and grow, hopefully, this community together. This practice has been so life-changing for me, and I really hope that we can practice in community together and hopefully be beneficial for all sentient beings, ourselves included. So thanks so much for your time today.